Hello there, I'm Janet Kadow, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about intention and building upon your intuitive practice to grow your intuition. So, growing your intuition, when you give it attention, as what we talked about last week, about paying attention to your thoughts and being mindful, understanding when it's your ego speaking and when it's your intuition speaking, just sort of watching how all that manifests and works. If you're having trouble with mindfulness or paying attention to your thoughts, there are a lot of great books on that. So I would recommend that kind of thing. I haven't read one in a while, but I do know The Power of Now with Eckhart Tolle is a very good book on mindfulness. So, and then there's a lot of books on meditation and so forth that are also very helpful. So, um, keep that in mind. So, if you're having trouble watching your thoughts or paying attention to how your intuition is working, that being mindful of how your mind processes and when something comes randomly and when something is part of your normal mental process, that is the foundation of understanding how your intuition is going to work for you. And we start with the intuition instead of the spirit guides and stuff, because there's two reasons. One is when your spirit guides work with you, your angelic friends or your ancestors or whoever it is that supports you in the other realms, they will speak with you or connect with you in the same way your intuition works. So, starting off with that really super solid foundation of understanding your intuition will give you a leg up in connecting with your guides. So, there's that. Now, then, when we are, last time we talked about just paying attention to how it comes. Is it a visual, a thought, a word, or a feeling? Now we're going to take it up a notch. So if you have a really good understanding of how your intuition works, then we're going to take it up to the level of now we're going to follow our intuition. So you're going to follow how, you're going to follow whatever guidance you get intuitively. Okay? So this is a bit of a risk, but not really. So if you have the idea or thought or feeling to call someone at a particular moment, do it. If you feel like you should go a different route to work, do it. If you feel like you should pick up that extra milk at the store, do it. Follow through on your intuitive thoughts, on your intuitive feelings, on your intuitive nudges and visuals, or however it comes to you. When you follow through, it reinforces it. And when it's reinforced, on that unconscious level, you're saying to your intuition, I believe you, I trust you, and I'm going to follow this guidance. Okay? So as you start following this intuitive guidance, it gets stronger and it gets more active, and you can really begin to build a bridge of trust with it. It's hard to trust something that you haven't interacted with. So building that bridge of trust with your intuition is the first step in growing with it. Now, as I said last time when we talked about intuition, it is always right. Your ego, if your ego is guessing and you're listening to your ego, it will be wrong. So there's nothing to worry about there if you're listening to your ego and you're wrong. That's just to also use that as a tool. Know what it feels like when your ego is communicating with you, and know what it feels like when your intuition is communicating with you. So it feels like, so if the ego feels like it's, so if you feel like you're getting the nudge to buy something at the store that you don't think you need, go ahead and do it. Because even if the ego is wrong, even if the message is wrong, it's giving you a foundational what is wrong. So let's say you buy something at the store you don't need, you get home, you realize you don't need it, and you never need it throughout the whole week. Then you can say, okay, when I was wrong, that's how it felt. It felt urgent, or it felt pushy, or it felt loud, or whatever. That's usually the ego. So then you know how it feels like when it's wrong. So when you do something that's right, let's say you get that thing at the store and you actually did need it, you just didn't know you were going to need it, then you can go, okay, that's what it feels like when it's right. It feels soft, or it feels like a feeling. I just got a kind of urgent feeling, or I got a little nudge to do this, or somehow I ended up on this aisle staring at this thing, realizing that's what I wanted. So that's how to kind of sort out between the ego and the intuition. So this next week or 2 weeks, or however long you want to work with this particular practice, will show you what it feels like when you're right and what it feels like when you're wrong. So when you're wrong, it doesn't mean that you're not intuitive or you're not psychic or whatever. It just means that you're listening to the wrong voice. That's all. So you just have to continue to discern which one is which. And once you start really getting to know those inner voices and those energies, then it becomes very clear when it's your intuition. And once you really start rocking and rolling with your intuition, next time we can do a practice where you can call it up so it's not random. So that's what we'll do next time, once you feel solid and understanding what your intuition feels like. Okay? And then after that, we'll start working with spirit guides a little bit. I also want to talk, though, today about intention. So intention, I think of intention as where we are headed. So if I think about why I'm doing these videos, I have a number of reasons why. And let's just pick one. So this is to support my students in between classes so that they can also get the sacred laws and all that information that sometimes we don't have time to cover in a private session. So when we so that's my intention, is to get this information out for other people also on the spiritual path, and to support people who are a little confused and conflicted about how all this works. So that's my intention, and I hope to hit that target. The intention is the driving force of the energy forward. So when you think about why you want to work with your intuition or your psychic energy or your spiritual path, why you want to grow in this way, then that's your intention. So I want you to think about very carefully why you're doing this, why you want to grow intuitively or spiritually. What are you getting out of it? What's your end game? Just checking something. Okay. All right. So what's your end game? So if you think about, like, I want to grow my psychic senses so that I can heal my past, or I want to grow my psychic senses so I can plan my future, or I want to grow my psychic senses so I can be a rich and famous psychic. I want you to really make a list of all the reasons why you want to do it, even the reasons that you might judge as to being bad, because all those reasons are going to clarify what you're doing with this and where you're going with this. And it's very important to have that clarity. There will be ego reasons. The ego will want to do it potentially for power, or insight or being nosy about people or something like that. Be really honest with yourself so that you can address all these intentions. Now, the intentions that you start out with are not necessarily the intentions that you'll keep the whole time. As you grow, your intentions will change. But it's important to know what they are at this point. So make a list of that. And I want you to wake up every day and say, today I'm going to follow through with all the intuitive hits I get and see what happens. So do that for at least 7 days and see how this intuition is going to really guide you and support you and change your life in the most wonderful ways. Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions or if I'm not clear, please leave comments, and you're welcome to share and subscribe. And I look forward to our next talk. Take care, everyone.